I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, by the way, welcome to Rough Housing Podcast.
Whee!
I'm Justin Rourke. This is my counterpart, John Pico Baby Martin.
Hello.
No one typically asks why I call him Pico, but I know.
No one's ever
He
asked.
knows. That's fine. Today we are joined by Vivian.
Yep.
Thank you. I didn't want to mess it up because I like you so much. And her husband, James. James, what's your last name?
Keller.
James.
Not
Oh,
associated with
gosh.
the big
Hey, royalty
He
around
didn't want to
here.
go Keller, and he didn't want to go Yip, huh? That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's kind of like more traditional stuff. People are keeping their names. My wife's last name was Brothers, and it was a cool brother. Like much you gotta say it like Macho Man Randy Savage, but she now like years later regrets changing it. And she was like, I might change it back. I'm like, have at it.
Go for
I was
it.
like, I told you never had to change it in the first place. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
I think I had intentions to change it, but I earned my stripes as a Yip.
You know
so
what?
I'm keeping it.
Don't shed the Yip.
Yip's memorable.
Yeah, Yip
like
is
I read
memorable.
like a one pager produced by Grace on you, and I was like, oh, Yip, that's cool.
You know what the funny thing is? I've had people ask me like, "Oh, how do you pronounce your name?" Seriously, it's 3 letters.
3 letters. Yeah, I know. Like how I mean, you never know. There could be.
He just
So-
did that too, kind
Did I?
of. Well, you asked her if it was correct.
I slow played the name. I go, yeah.
You did. You did it all right. Just like the last year.
Anyways, welcome to the podcast. We are excited to be joined by our guest today. They have some special insights into a field and an area of real estate that we're really kind of keen on and wondering what's going on. So we're gonna look to y'all to kind of give us some direction here. I looked at your website; it looks really cool, nice, pristine, very pretty. John, why don't you tell what these people could do for us potentially? Not the guests. You and the
Everybody.
audience.
So we want this thing to spread like wildfires. Please like this channel, like our pages. If you dig what you're hearing, what we do around here, please share it. Hit the little bell button so that you get notifications whenever we do pop stuff up. Come on, you want to do it? Let's share the love. Let's get this thing some legs so we can keep bringing it to you.
Like, subscribe, share, and also with our guests as well, look them up, give them business. They're here to help promote themselves and expose themselves in various degrees.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh
here
my
we
gosh,
are.
Vivian. We're gonna
Ooh,
cut
it's
first.
getting hot in here.
Cut the camera too. Cut the camera too.
Hurry.
But please show the love. Make sure you shout them out. Like everybody, go to our onlines. The bigger that we can get, the better. Also, I want to let our sponsors know, our future sponsors and present ones. That not you guys, I was winking at John. Hey, we are looking to keep the lights on. We are more than willing to put your message out there. We can do live reads, we can do pre-taped ads, we can put your logo up, do whatever the hell you want to do. We want to get you out there, and we want to keep this thing rolling. So we need y'all's help, not only on the exposure part,
Don't expose yourself.
but also the revenue part.
Come on.
Bring it. Lastly, God, we have a lot of spiels. I'm so sorry. Lastly, we're going to say some stuff on this podcast. Some of it's going to be meant to be funny. Some of it's meant for us. Some of it's meant to just keep the conversation going and flowing. Not every single thing are we like dedicated to. And we may say some stuff that might offend you or some language you don't want to hear. You're going to have to get over that, and you're going to have to make the choice right now whether or not you're going to hang with it. If you can't hang with it, get out.
Go on and get.
Can I have a go on and get from y'all?
Go on,
Go
get.
on,
Go on, get.
If you can't hang with it, go on and get. If you want to hang out with us and take this as a conversation with some value, then relax. Then let's hang out. That's
Let's
it.
hang.
Spiel's over. Cool.
Spiel ended.
Yep.
We try to do that, but still, we post clips online, but we put juicy clips online because if you put mundane clips online, no one's gonna pay attention to you.
Gotta
And
have that
people have
tagline.
already
Or a tagline.
cherry picked the like juicy clips and be like, "You guys
I've called us out.
are
They're
jerks."
like,
Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, "Dude, did you even watch it? Would you watch it, please?"
Yeah, watch it first.
So, James, would you tell us kind of what you're into, what you're?
Introduction.
Yeah, please tell us more about y'all.
Yeah. So, so we started our real estate journey about almost 6 years ago, and we were both in corporate world, doing the daily grind, and kind of tired of it. And she was like, Vivian was like, "Hey, why don't we flip a house? Like, let's get out of our comfort zone here a little bit." I have experience with construction from my past life and built a couple homes, and we basically got into it. So we went on to one of the local wholesale sites, found a house that we thought had some meat on the bone, and jumped in and basically did all the work on the first one ourselves. You know, and squeaked out a little bit of profit.
It's that learning curve, though, we were talking about.
Yeah,
man.
it was like, but it was enough. Like, we made a little money here, you know. Like, let's try this again. You know, we did the next one and made a little more money as we got a little smarter, and just kept kind of got the wheels rolling. And I think we did our first 7, both with full-time jobs. Right?
No shit.
Yeah.
And 2 kids, right?
Oof. Oh my goodness.
You know, thank you.
More kids than now, or do you have more?
Same.
Just
No.
2.
Just
Okay.
2.
Oh yeah, we're done.
Holding.
Yeah.
Okay.
2's a
Kids
good
be
number.
gone.
Yeah, we got lucky, boy and a girl.
Nice.
So we, so after I think the 7th one, I finally was just like, you know what, like I'm making more money doing this than I am in my corporate gig.
Right.
I think I should focus on it. Let's go for this. So that's what we did. So I left my job and started doing it full time, and then at that point, so I'm flipping, and I'll kind of hand it to Vivian, kind of what happened to her and how she got to this point.
So you fell first.
I fell first.
You fell first.
Yeah, because I was doing a lot. I was on the ground.
Did y'all have your license at all, or was it just how were y'all acquiring these, like off market?
Yes. Well, yeah. So
We did most of them off market, but we were also finding golden nuggets on the MLS.
Well, we did several that we got from MLS. So
And did y'all have any background in like writing contracts, or was this just kind of like you dove head first? Let's mess with these forms, plug and play, put the data in where we think it needs to go, and hope for the best.
Yeah, the first one we kind of hope for the best and just kind of went for it. Kind of just blind jumped in. Let's do this. And then one of our neighbors, our friend, and now my broker, she listed it for me.
Okay. Because you can't sneeze in this city without projectile
sneezing
sneezing onto a real estate
I'm
agent.
A realtor. I'm a real estate agent.
And but she was a mentor for us as well. So
Good.
she flipped and whatnot, and so she helped us along the way with some contractors and stuff. And she was like, I don't know why you're having me sell your homes for you. You just need to get licensed.
Yeah.
Like there's no sense in you paying me 3% to list your home when you could be doing it yourself.
So at the beginning, you were not licensed.
Number one, I was not.
And
Number
then you
two,
got rolling.
I was.
Yeah, because then you see the leverage piece on it. It's like I don't ever understand why someone would not do that. I mean, there are some liabilities. Like whenever I flipped the one I was telling you guys about, I didn't want to be the listing agent because I knew too much about it. So I was like, I don't want the disclosure piece to come in the way. But we can talk about that later. Sorry to hijack your story, but that was one thing that kind of struck me was like I always want to know. When you get into this kind of stuff on the flipping side, there are methods that you don't have to have a license, but there's so much benefit in getting it.
Totally. And I think really one of the big benefits is like, especially in this kind of market, having the keys to access any home that looks like a good deal and be there first. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wait for an agent to take you to go and see a property that might look like a good deal. You can just access it yourself.
Well, yeah, I mean that's one of many, but the big piece is like leveraging the commission to help you financially. It's like you can dangle that, wave it, throw it at their faces.
I've done that several times.
I often suggest to people to get licensed just so that way they can understand that it's kind of like an underpinning of a lot of our like modern society. If you own a restaurant or you own a business or you're doing leasing or you're buying something for yourself, like there's so much knowledge to kind of be imparted there that I'm just like it's kind of good information to have. Even I mean there's all elements: marketing, there's business, there's finance, there's construction. I mean it touches everything. That's why we're here for the Rough Housing Podcast. Sidebar: I love how everyone in real estate, and James did this just a second ago, everyone in real estate talks about their past origin story in the form of like a what's those Joe Rogan peyote trips he talks about?
Ayahuasca.
Like our journey.
Yeah.
And this is where I found myself.
Pre-ayahuasca, post-ayahuasca.
It's everyone's going. It's always so spiritual. I think it's.
Have you guys ever done ayahuasca?
No, but I have a buddy of mine who went on the whole deal. He did it. They did peyote. They did ayahuasca.
Yeah.
He said it was fucking wild, dude.
I know a guy that's done it 15 times.
Whoa!
And he can still talk, and he's like with
Yeah,
it.
he said it was
Probably fine.
life changing for him.
Yeah.
I've heard
But
that.
it didn't make him any happier.
Really?
I feel like there's insight, but I'm not sure if that's going to change the environment. Maybe it's going to change internally, but I feel like the external environment's still going to be there. Maybe you remove yourself. I've heard of people making big life decisions afterwards, but I don't know about the happiness part. I feel like that's
I would
gonna
do
be
it.
more
I mean,
than
I think
just-
it's one of those
I wanna
deals where it's
try it.
like,
it's worth it.
you know, before
talk to
I
some
die, I
Martians.
wouldn't mind checking it out. You know?
Yeah, I've taken a few trips and didn't leave the farm, but not ayahuasca.
Yeah, same. I just that one's next level. You know, I've never done anything where I needed like a babysitter, like to like make sure I'm not gonna swallow my tongue. Maybe I don't know. Like
But I
bash
guess you
my
need it with that.
Yeah, you do. You need like a
You need a
watcher.
shaman or a guy, the watcher.
the watch.
Is anyone
Yeah.
watching What If? No.
I watched What If before. You're just now watching What If?
I've never even heard of it.
It's phenomenal.
What is it?
So it's
Oh,
it's
it's
an
dumb.
animated series about different perspectives of like the Marvel MCU. So like each episode is like, what if Captain America was a woman, and then it like has the whole episode is what it is, and like going through it's like the multiverse almost, and so it kind of paves the way for these different multiverse of different parallels of what we're used to seeing in the Marvel. I thought it was brilliant. The first couple
However,
episodes were
it's
slow.
narrated by the
Watcher, yeah.
This omnipotent being who sees through the multiverse, and just in the comic books he's always this narrator on the side. In this instead of it being these like episodic vignettes of like, oh, we're gonna do like, what if Doctor Strange was evil or something like that. Eventually, towards the end of the series, they all start to tie in together to make a
the end of
bigger plot line. So it's
end
fun
was
different.
phenomenal.
But I forget how we got on this thing. But
All right, we're derailed.
What if
so
derails? I want to hear from Vivian.
What,
We're talking
what
about
if we
Marvel
stayed
here.
on the course here and
Yeah,
did it?
what
so,
if we asked
so
Vivian
you're
the question
flipping
again?
homes. You bailed out of corporate world. You're still grinding, right?
Right.
You're in your old.
Yeah, I couldn't leave my job because I had this great job at Apple.
Yeah.
I worked in operations for almost 7 years. I had all the benefits.
Making
I had the
bank.
restricted stock units. I was getting bonuses, and it was hard. The health benefits, that was it was
Shit, the
hard.
damn cafeteria at that campus. I mean,
I heard it's not that good anymore.
Well, I went
but
to one of
I
them
did,
a while back.
I
and it
did
was-
have the freshman 15 when
Yeah,
I started.
I mean,
there.
they got shit everywhere for y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it was hard to leave. Hard to leave for sure.
What was the best food on the campus? Is it like kind of like your kids'
It's like-
cafeteria? It's like
No.
everyone looks
So
forward
what's
to pizza day and
interesting, in the
spaghetti day.
almost 7 years that I was there, I went through 3 iterations of what the cafeteria was, because we were in one building, then we shifted to another building, and then off to a new building. And honestly, I think like the first building was the best because we would have like Ethiopian food one day, we would have Moroccan another day, or
Oh.
like Japanese another day.
I mean, my favorite was when they'd have rack of lamb with risotto
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that was
for
like
$8.
cafeteria number 2.
Yeah.
Like by the time cafeteria
Cafeteria
number 3 came along, I was fat and happy, and I just had to stick to the salad bar.
Yeah, you kind of
Kind of
learn
look
your
like a
lesson.
golden corral after a
Yeah.
certain
Kind-
point.
yeah.
Kind of. It gets
It's
old.
not attractive
yeah.
anymore.
Well, then it hits the waistline. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
be more
maybe having
careful.
that tangible so much food in reach is kind of like when you're staying in the dorms freshman year or something like that,
Yeah.
and the food hall is right next to you. You're like, this could be a problem.
But it wasn't free.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like Google or.
but it
See,
was
I had
affordable.
I had a client that worked at Indeed, and I would go to the Indeed campus, and it was wild, man. He'd be like, "You want to come for lunch?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely." And there's like these little segments. It's almost like this journey through Earth and like the different regions and continents. It's like they had everything mapped out. There was like little Italy over here. It was like little China over there. It was like all kinds of cool little things, barbecue.
Yep.
And like, not to mention the coolest thing, which I'm a huge coffee cold brew nut. Cold brew on tap would be dangerous for me. I think I would just live off cold brew.
Oh, we had a smoothie bar. We had a coffee bar. We had acupuncture, dentistry,
And anything to
massage
keep you there.
therapy.
What about those little pods? Like those, like, I don't know.
Hey, Gary Keller, you could take a little page out of that playbook. We could definitely use some acupuncture and
Yeah.
smoothie bars. Are you making your own smoothies, or you're asking someone
No,
else to
no,
make them?
they have them there.
Yeah, I'll make
There's a
them
gym, personal training,
Yeah.
yoga classes.
I've always thought that we needed washing machines in the gym here that would keep
Nice.
keep agents humming and running and humming. Anyways, Apple wasn't working. What happened?
It was working until it wasn't.
Right.
Right. We were seeing success in house flipping and real estate in general. We're starting to accumulate a little bit of wealth from flipping, and then learning how to keep the properties. Like if you've never read the book Tax Free Wealth, highly recommend it.
Okay.
Really changed the way we started looking at investing, because when you have a W-2 job and you're flipping houses, not only are you paying taxes on your W-2, you're now paying taxes on your earned income from flipping houses. So we were like, okay, let's start figuring out how to keep our properties. And then the pandemic happens, and I took on a new role, launching iPhone 12s. The kids are at home for the summer. They have nowhere to go, no camps, nothing to go, because everything was shut down. All they had were their iPads. I've got tons of mom guilt. I'm trying to launch this iPhone through supply chain issues globally, and my hair fell out. My hair fell out in a matter of like
during COVID at home. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Stress induced or
I believe it was stress induced, because I really didn't leave the house at that time. You know, I hadn't even gotten COVID yet. Like, how do I even get COVID if I was home all the time?
right?
And my hair fell out in about 8 weeks.
Wow.
And sometimes you just look at yourself in the mirror and you say, like, okay, this is how stress is happening to me. And I never really understood stress until
This is how it manifests,
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah.
This is how it shows up in me. Wow.
Yeah.
So once it started happening, you're like, was there a road to like, I've got to make a change, or this is looking too advantageous? Like how hard was that decision to leave the corporate world? Because I've often thought of, not often, let me pull that back. I think that's where we got on the what if game.
Yeah.
What if Justin chose corporate world versus real estate world? And I feel like going from corporate to being self-employed has way more advantages. I don't know if I know of a lot of people who go from self-employed to corporate very easy. Like what decision-making process was that for you?
I think my what if is like, what if we didn't start doing real estate investing a couple years prior to me losing my hair? Because I think for a lot of people, they never take on a hobby, like an income producing hobby. And if I had, lost my hair and I had not taken on this income producing hobby, I would have been in a very, very different place. I would have been stuck. I would have been trapped. But because we'd already started flipping houses, we're getting a lot of confidence in securing off-market deals and even finding golden nuggets on the MLS. It gave me confidence that, I can do this. And I had to change my mindset to start believing that staying on my job where I was really unhappy was actually keeping me from making more money.
Yep. You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable.
You got to change your mindset that your job is keeping you from making more money that you could potentially do. And honestly, in 2021, like, we rocked it.
Yeah.
We bought, so it was hot. Austin market was hot. We were able to buy stuff off market and add value to them and increase our net worth by 7 times.
Nice.
That's awesome. Are y'all still working through the wholesalers, or are y'all now hanging out at the county court steps? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, all of the above. So-
Actually, I shouldn't ask you y'all's secret sauce. It's probably foul play on
Yeah,
the
we-
podcast.
you know,
It's
I'd
enough
say
for everybody.
Generally,
Yeah.
When the market went crazy, like, it was impossible to find anything flip on the MLS.
Yeah.
Like, it was just,
Paying
over-ask
30%
for
over
everything.
asking. Yeah, I mean,
You had to pay
can't do
$100K
anything.
just to get a pig with lipstick
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah,
like, frankly.
yeah, it was impossible, and everybody and their dog thought they wanted to be a flipper at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And so we started finding more through some wholesalers to some extent, but even then they got a little bit greedy. It used to be, it was like a lot of more first come first serve. Like, hey, here's the price, and then they started going to this. Hey, give us your best and final on a wholesale deal, and it became difficult. So we started finding more nuggets just through networking. And one of our best ones ever, she found on a Facebook group.
No shit.
She saw in a Facebook group that somebody had said, hey, does anybody know a good agent or somebody maybe want to buy my house? We're trying to get rid of it. And so she messaged this girl, was like, hey, like, we buy homes for cash. And it was down in Hayes County, 5 acres down in Bear Creek.
Oh, shit.
And we got a good deal on it.
Yeah.
And it worked out really well. And that was just her, just happened to see somebody post on Facebook and just send a message,
What training are y'all taking for this? Because I heard the what was the book you said? Tax Free Wealth.
Tax-free wealth.
Tax-free wealth, and then so you guys can come about this education in some way. It sounds like, is someone licensed here now?
Both of
Yeah,
us
both
are.
of
Now
them
you're
are.
licensed.
Yeah, we both are now, yeah.
Both
Yeah.
are licensed. But you guys were doing this pre-license, right?
Well, you won pre-license, then
one
you
point.
got
One
it. That's what I was
pre-license,
I
going
just got
licensed.
licensed last year.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
congratulations.
Thanks.
I'm wondering how much of this was like, hey, let's try a couple of these strategies, such as there was the house flipping strategy of the "We Buy Ugly Houses" signs on the side of the road. You can write it yourself, so that way it doesn't look like a gimmick or something like
Yeah.
that. Is that y'all? Do y'all do that?
We don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to. Do y'all know who does? I want to find out who is leaving these. Who's
Everybody,
perpetually
lots of
leaving
people.
these signs out here?
It's generally going to be. Can I name drop?
Do you
We can
think
always
that they're gonna
bleep
have a problem
it.
with
Name
it?
drop it. We can always bleep.
You know, like
We can always
it's gonna
I've
be.
called them before. I know who it is.
Well, I mean, some of them are New Western.
Is this a-
some
It
of them
wasn't
are,
Trident. Yeah, net worth.
Oh,
Networth.
is that
Yeah.
where they're getting this
Yeah.
from?
And
They're
those-
the ones.
And those signs aren't actually written out. They just look like they're written.
They just
Yeah,
look like
they're
they
printed.
right?
Yeah.
Well, what about the real estate investor protege or apprentice or whatever I see on these things? Is like make $20K a month. I'm like, wait a
They're-
second. What do you got? What do you
Almost
got?
like
They're
income
probably trying
every-
to sell
What
courses.
else do you
Yeah,
have to do besides
everybody-
real estate
Yeah.
to make that? Yeah.
honestly, the best marketing tactic I did, which unfortunately the company went out of business, was doing Facebook marketing.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, like this was in 2021. I'd signed up with a company that's now out of business because their business model failed. But I spent $24,000 on marketing just doing Facebook ads, and we got tons of leads. But 3 leads generated $120,000 in profit.
Oh wow. Okay.
One of them was a wholesale deal, where I was able to make $86,000 in 31 days.
Damn, just by signing it, like flipping it that way, just
I bought
Were
it
you doing the wholesaling
Yeah.
game?
whole
then?
tail.
Whole
No, no.
You know the term whole tail?
whole tail. No, explain.
So you
Whole
gotta
tail.
Explain
So
to
this couple,
everybody else but me.
yeah, this couple, they had a rental property. They wanted to free up some cash to help their kid with some personal expenses, and they didn't want to list it on the MLS because they had a property manager that had forced them to sign that says that if they were to sell it on the market,
They have to pay
they
extra
have to
money.
pay him 6%. And they're like, we don't like this guy so much that we don't want to give him another penny. And they liked working with me, and they said, we'd rather just sell it to you. So actually, I gave them a very, very fair market value, minus a little bit, because it was in great condition. It was like a 2017 new build in Gerald, right? At the time, it was only a few years old. And so I bought it for them, paid cash for it. I ran an ozone machine because it smelled like pets in there. I took some pictures on my iPhone. I listed it the next day. 4 days later, I had, 5 offers? And I listed it for $239, and I sold it for like $270 something.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So
we listed it on the market. That's wholesale.
Yeah, okay.
You buy something that's in great condition already.
Right.
You buy it off market or a good deal, and then you just flip it.
You don't do anything to it. You just put it
Was
right
that
back on the market.
Santerra in Gerald?
It's in Sonterra, Gerald.
I bought a investment home there. I was with some clients it was during COVID, probably in the same community. They were wanting to buy a house for their parents because they were moving from Chicago, actually. And I was over there looking at the numbers. They were like, in the high, 190s. And I was like, the sales rep was like, dude, people are renting these things out for like $1,500-$1,600. And I started doing the math on the numbers on it. I was like, I fucking want one. So I bought one with them. So, and that shit was bananas. I could have flipped it probably a year, which I probably should have, and dumped it for like $250, but didn't do it.
Oh, I think they went as high as 368.
Oh yeah, some of them were over 3s.
But they come back down now.
There was a talk for a while back then that Disney was moving a campus
Yeah.
to Gerald
I heard
and that
that
whole
too.
area.
Disney ain't doing shit now.
Yeah.
Disney has run their thing into the ground.
Yeah.
They're hemorrhaging money. Have you heard about all this? Sorry to deviate, but have you heard about all the? I just listened to this the other day. They're now like looking to possibly sell ESPN, and it's also giving NFL like.
Well, they bought
access.
everything. I mean,
they
like,
bought
they-
They bought everything. Why? I don't want to like
And
reference
went
the
woke.
South Park.
Yeah, went woke,
Yeah,
crazy woke.
Have y'all seen the South Park where they rip on Disney for?
No, not
No.
And basically, they somehow in another what if multiverse, Cartman turns into the DEI person at Disney, and he was like. Put a woman in it and make it gay. It was basically like the only tagline. Oh, we have the new Mandalorian movie. They're like, he's like, put a woman in it, make it gay, like something like, and that's just like repetitive line over and over, and basically like slowly like Disney's just like crumbling right now, and they're like ESPN's a powerhouse, ABC is a
huge.
powerhouse. Like, how are you running this thing into the ground, and how are you like losing out? Like, you've got so much bedrock with Disney. Like it just seems crazy. But yeah, no, we don't have a Disney campus. They didn't move to Texas.
That would have been
probably for a lot of
awesome.
weird-
Yeah, they're now going to like Frisco or something like that, right? Is that what I heard?
I don't know. I did lost.
Who knows? They don't have money, but they also bought. They're also trying to buy Hulu. Sorry for everybody. I'm recanting all the economics podcasts I watch and listen to, but they're also in the middle of buying Hulu, and they have I think that there's some degree of debt on it, so they're cash poor. Their woke movies aren't making anything. They're now having to give up the assets that they do have to pay for the debt that they have. So in order to not default on Hulu, they may end up having to sell ESPN, and a possible likely purchaser could be like the NFL, because recently I think the NFL shopped out one of their games to Peacock.
Yeah, they did. It was the first playoff game.
And
it
everyone,
was this
like,
last weekend.
Yeah, everyone made a whole bunch of money. So like,
Which
it's
the
possible
broadcasting
that the
shuffle's
NFL
crazy.
may just get their own. They already have the NFL Network, but it's possible that they may just go ahead and acquire ESPN.
Goes to tell you networks. Go woke, get broke.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
woke, you get broke.
It's not
Go
the
woke,
best.
you get broke.
It's not the best business strategy, and I debate on whether it's not the best social.
Didn't some beer company go woke recently too? And they kind of
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
They got slammed for like a year.
Yeah.
They completely ignored their customer base, and they could have. Here's the thing, this is something back in the day. Stay neutral, and keep your nose out of everybody's business, and you might be okay.
You don't have to take a
Might be fine.
stance.
Yeah,
Either way.
really,
Just let-
there's no obligation to have to take a stance. It's
Yeah,
the
they're
fact
like,
that
we
you-
want to get rid of the frat boy. That was the thing. Like, we want to get rid of like the frat boy like mentality or whatever we have in this organization. Like, that's your customer.
Those
Yeah.
those are people buying your alcoholic swill. Right. You know? Like, it's not. Sorry, but I don't know if Bud Light's going to be sponsoring us anytime soon.
Maybe not.
Maybe they might need to.
I prefer local beer businesses in general. Suds Monkey, what's up? You don't have to bleep that, but anyways, I think it's gonna be a little bit different place for Disney, and I don't know what that means. But we still, regardless of Disney, there's still all the like billion-dollar chip plants that are supposed to be making their way over here pretty soon.
That
to Taylor and
I-35
everywhere else.
corridor is just inevitable. I mean, from north
The
to
which
south,
corridor?
I-35 corridor.
yeah.
I mean, shit, Gerald. I mean, when I was a kid, the only thing that Gerald was known for was the damn tornado that ran through it. There's nothing out there but farmland. And
There's
now
still nothing out there. I don't
There's
know why
still-
anybody lives there. There's no supermarket
there's
anywhere.
still some pods though, but it's close. It's it's like the Kyle and Buda of old. It's like compared to like Georgetown and Round Rock and all those more bustling areas. It's like you can live on the outskirts affordably and still get into those marketplaces.
There's
so
zero commercial. People are
if-
having to go to Georgetown, which even in
But that's how
Georgetown,
Kyle and
there's
Buda
not
was. There wasn't shit. When South Park Meadows was a concert venue, people that lived in Kyle, per se, it was the same equidistance to like South Austin. South Austin didn't have the expanse back then either, so it was probably even further than what you know today. But that it will all fill in. It's just it's inevitable. The bubble will grow to get there. It's like just Kyle and Buda went crazy when everything was going crazy like everything else did. But I mean, that whole line from South Austin all the way to San Antonio, it's gonna all kind of sector off and fill in. New Braunfels is going crazy. So same thing's happening up north. Pretty much from Austin to Waco. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Over the next 20 years, it'll be gangbusters.
What was that town we were at recently? Up by when we went to the Yale and the lake house.
Oh, Belton.
Belton?
Belton's crazy.
What's
Belton
that
has
little town where we had dinner?
Oh, that was a
That-
cool town. What was
Salado.
Salado.
Oh,
Yeah.
Have you
what's
guys been up there?
I haven't been to
It's just
Salado in a
before
while.
Temple. Yeah.
they got
Salado
some good
is
restaurants
hopping.
there.
See,
It's cool.
seeing
It's
the shit, that's
it's
just
the new
north.
temple.
Yeah.
essentially.
Totally. It's so nice.
Is the road construction done? I swear they've been working on the roads for 20 years.
It is not.
Forever and always. That's I-35.
It's like we talk about forever wars, forever highways. What are you guys building? What are you doing? Why are we always going down to one lane?
Right.
Whenever my wife's family is in Missouri, and so we always take I-35 up, and we go there we go to my wife's family's place at least 2 or 3 times a year. We love to road trip. Every single time, it's always down to like one lane, and it's like, what are y'all building here?
Yeah, because you look at the South Austin, 183, the new extension going down to the airport.
Yeah.
I feel like I got that done in 6 months.
Yeah, it was,
It's
and
wild.
it's great. It has made such a difference.
Oh yeah,
Such
Yeah.
a difference.
It's huge.
I don't want to derail, but I want to go back to Vivian because we got to the hey you started to make your switch. I think I read a little bit about you before we got here, so I'm excited to talk about this next phase. But you started doing your flips.
Yeah.
And then what? Because you have another element of your business as well.
Yeah. So we started doing the flips. We started keeping some of the properties. I had a short-term rental in Round Rock, our number 6 flip, and that I wanted to get back into hospitality because when I was 17 years old, I worked at a hotel, and I loved it. And I always thought I'd own a hotel, but how do you own a hotel when you're just kind of getting started? So it's not about what you can't do; it's about what you can do. So I ended up turning a property into a short-term rental. And it did great until the pandemic happened. Do you guys have short-term rentals?
We don't
We
mess
don't
with
do
them.
short. We don't do short.
Okay, so for those people that have been doing short-term rentals since 2019, you'll know that when the pandemic hit, no matter what your cancellation policy was, Airbnb would cancel your reservations for you on your behalf if the guests couldn't fly, felt sick, didn't feel like traveling, wedding plans canceled, whatever it was, they would cancel the reservations. And then I would be left without reservations. So I thought, I need to pivot, do something different. A friend of mine said, well, what about travel nurses? Why don't you give that a try? Your husband's an agent. Put on the MLS for 30-day stays. See what happens. I ended up getting a booking for a family that was building a home. They moved from California. They were building a house in Leander. My house was in Round Rock. Another family, a team of construction crew came in from Dallas. They were doing something in Pflugerville, so they booked that for 7 months. And I was like, I think this is like maybe an extended stay is something that is a market that no one's tapping into.
I agree. I don't think it is.
Right. And then I started losing my hair. And then I started thinking my exit, like, what am I going to do to get out of my job? By that time, the market was on fire, and I wasn't loving that neighborhood where that house was. So I was like, James, let's just sell it, free up some cash. That way we can figure out what the next steps are. At that point, I had no idea what we're going to do. Like, I just figured if I have some money in my pocket, you know, we bought it for $185, sold it for $348.
There you go.
Right? Off market. And put the money in the pocket, and then we just scoured for deals. Ended up getting, 6 off market deals that summer, right, in 2021, which is pretty hard to do off market.
Absolutely.
And we just turned them into midterm rentals, and then everybody started knowing that I have midterm rentals. All the realtors would call me. I have a client that's relocating. Do you have somewhere? Or someone needs something in South Austin. And I realized I was having all these leads, but I didn't want to buy properties in South Austin. I didn't want to buy properties or couldn't afford to buy properties in Tarrytown.
Right.
I was like, well, what if I just built a network? So I built a network. I built a brand so that we can try and build this consistent experience in these extended stays. And that's what I'm working on right now. I built my own platform, Corporate Rentals USA, and
that's badass.
putting the word out there. You know?
I saw the website and I saw that mention. I was like, that is, you could even see what direction you went with it, which I don't think everyone's. I don't think everyone's trying to do, and it looks untapped. I'm sure there's players out there that suggest we might have you on, but we'll see. We'll see. But I thought it was such a interesting thing. We keep getting asked for it, and the times that we get asked for like midterm rentals, which let's just clarify this for any lay people, although I think we're more industry here than not. But short term would be anything less than 30 days, right?
29.
29, anything less than 29 days. Anything between 30 days and 8 months. Yeah, 30 days and 8 months is probably considered a midterm.
Yep.
9 months or more. It's probably gonna be 9 months or more. It's probably gonna be considered long term. And you can always play with those edges, but when we're playing with funny terms here. But for anyone curious, that's what we mean when we're talking about the midterm game. Is like what happens when you're going to be here, but Airbnbs are too expensive to rent out per month, and you don't want to commit to a full year because you don't have that possibility. And so there's basically like a hole that people kept falling into and having to beg to have to get access to these things. So I imagine because they're still less than a year, these need to be furnished, I'm assuming, right? You mentioned hospitality and all those other things. It's still going to look like a short-term rental, but have. So what's the value there? I guess people are going to see price decrease as opposed to being like short term for like a weekend
That's
or
what
something
I
like
asked
that?
too.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to price a short-term rental times 30 days,
Yeah, you'd
it'll
be-
be outrageous.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
So I think the sweet spot is somewhere between 25 to 35% discount off the short-term rental rate, but you're still getting all the services of a short-term rental. You're still, coming into a home that has hospitality. You can schedule cleaning once a month. All the utilities are included. So it's
Oh, so there's not transference. for all those
Turnkey.
things. Do
No.
you are utilities included or are utilities billed?
It depends on the host. All the Hestia homes that we have, the utilities are included. All your lawn care is included. So I have like 130 to 100. I've lost track now, but 130 to 140 properties on my website.
Wow.
Whoa,
And
that's
all-
awesome.
And they're homes. I don't own all of them, right? But they're
Right.
all hosts that I've attracted to come on board to experience the brand advantages. And I'm taking that brand and bringing them to the relocation companies that are looking for good quality homes. I'm bringing it to the insurance companies that are looking for good quality homes for people that have lost their homes from a flood or a fire or water damage. So like we just had this freeze that happened a few days ago.
Probably got a boost in
Maybe no,
occupancy.
well not yet, but maybe in like
Soon.
10 days or so, once they figured out the insurance, they might be able to move out of their house while their home is being fixed.
And so what's the average timeline of a lease for that scenario? I mean, what are you looking like on average?
I would say for midterm rentals, about 2 months to 6 months is the average.
And is there a diminishing return if it goes past 6 months, or I mean, could you keep them in there for as long as you want and still hit the margins?
I'll let them stay in as long as they
Yeah,
want.
as long as they want that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I guess there
occupancy's
isn't any.
not a problem.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
there isn't any like downfall to having them roll there and keep going. But
Yeah.
So nomenclature, you used hosts. So are you still appealing to that Airbnb model versus saying, hey, they're landlords and hey, I'm acting as property manager and I'm going to make decisions on your behalf, or do the hosts still have a lot of degree of
Oh,
control?
no, the host still has pretty much full control of their property. When we onboard them, we get an idea of what they want their monthly rate to be, and we'll, depending on seasonality and whatever, we'll negotiate the rates on their behalf.
Okay.
Yeah, so the host still has full control. They still tour the property with the guests if that's necessary. Like a lot of insurance guests, they want to see the property first to make sure it meets their standards. Our goal is to have that insurance guest say yes the first time.
Right.
I don't want them touring a bunch of properties. I want the house to be so nice that they say, yes, let's do it because I love this home. And actually, we have people that tour 10 properties and they finally come see one of our properties and like, yeah, this is the home I've been waiting for.
Isn't
Nice.
it funny how when you pepper in like some degree of quality, and James, I haven't forgotten about you, buddy. We'll bring you.
No,
back
it's all
in here.
good.
You just jump in whenever you feel hot. But isn't it funny how when you pepper in a degree of quality into what you're doing and that you care about what you're doing,
Yeah.
that things start to change versus like everything else. Like, oh yeah, oh this looks great. This, there's paper towels here. There's all these other, like everything's nice and neat and buttoned up. And if you, that hospitality aspect, that hotel quality, like people tend to turn on to that. I think that's one thing that got John and me into long-term management, was because we saw the need towards service and not hospitality, because we don't run it that way, but just that care and quality. Like I
Yeah.
care about what this is going to look like. I care about what each property looks like when we
Yeah.
put it up or list it or book it or do whatever. It's funny how much that can make a big difference versus your competition that you were mentioning just a second ago.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
well, so do you? I guess you quarterback and tee up all the services for each house that's under your umbrella, or how do you maintain keeping them clean? Do you have all the vendors that do that for every host that comes to use your service?
Yeah, so we don't just let anybody become part of our umbrella. We pick hosts that already have at least a year of experience. They have great reviews on Airbnb. So they already know what they're doing. And then we overlay that with what we call a SOP, a standard operating procedure of what the cleaning entails, how you organize your cabinets, what your linens should look like and feel like, going through your towels to make sure they are white and pristine. We on our insurance guests, they pay a little bit more money because the businesses are paying for them. So we try, if and when the budget allows, I try to get them to get all new towels, all new sheets. That way they come into a fresh experience.
Well, and so I guess you're kind of like the property manager then at that
I'm really
case.
the marketing arm.
Okay.
I'm just marketing.
I was going to ask about that. Like, so are they reaching out to you for repairs?
No.
No.
Okay.
That's still the host.
Yeah.
So are you getting any monthly management income, or are we talking mainly about booking fees?
Booking fees.
Okay.
So there's a
Booking fees?
membership
Gotcha.
fee, right? There's a membership fee because it costs us money to onboard them. It costs us money to go and market this brand.
Right.
And then on top of that, we don't just take your money and say, okay, thanks. You paid us your membership fee and see you later. But we charge a booking fee to keep us motivated to work on behalf of the owner, keep us driving the leads,
Yeah.
and bringing in the business.
So you are the Airbnb.
I don't like to work. We don't work so much directly with consumer. We try to work mostly with businesses.
Okay.
Because honestly, I feel like the average consumer doesn't care about these finer details.
Right.
Whereas the businesses, they want their business to look good, and when their business puts their client in a good business, it makes their business look great.
That's cool.
It's kind of like realtors. You would never just refer someone to another realtor just for the sake of knowing them. You want to vet them.
Absolutely.
Make sure that they're, good realtors before you go and make that referral to, because they're trusting you with your opinion,
Absolutely.
right?
It's a business to business connection, which
Yeah.
which I often think is a little bit easier because it's not so much that you're tap dancing and being a flash in the pan. It's that you have to have, like the substance is going to get vetted out, because if you're in business, you're going to want, like you said, you're going to do your due diligence and make sure it looks good.
Yeah.
So
part of
that,
it.
that seems like it makes more sense. And we've talked to insurance people and lenders and stuff like that, and they're like, there's no way I would open myself up to the general public and try to go market myself to. That's kind of the insanity of realtors, is that hey, everybody in the world then becomes a potential client versus
You
business
whore
to
yourself.
business, and you can talk business speak and get through that. But
Yeah.
that's cool. That was the thing I noticed on your website. I was like, you guys are doing so many ways of marketing yourselves to just mainly businesses, really.
Yeah.
And are y'all posting stuff on MLS, James?
Pause. Can I go shake the dew off my lily?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. So I do intermittent fasting.
Nice.
And so the problem is when you do intermittent fasting and you get a couple drinks in you, it's just like
Oh yeah.
there's no food there to stop it.
Gotta
So,
go pee, man.
Gotta go.
Gotta go
Gotta
pee.
go. So
Go do your thing. Well, welcome back. One thing I did want to ask, which was kind of something I caught from y'all. When did y'all start keeping the property? So y'all started flipping these things, and then
2019.
And then I guess, well, were y'all leveraging hard money loans, or how would you keep it without having to pay back the bookie, if you will?
I'll let him talk.
Yeah, so all the above. We actually bought our first investment property in 2016. We bought a house in Cat Hollow in Round Rock.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
And wow, I wish I'd bought 10
Yeah,
of those.
no shit.
Holy cow.
It was $202,000.
Wow.
202. We've
Market
actually
ready.
pulled all of our money
That's
out
a
of it.
steal for anyone listening.
Used that money to buy other properties, and it cash flows. So
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It was, hindsight's always 20/20.
So it wasn't exactly. I mean, it wasn't exactly market driven at the time for y'all to start holding some.
It wasn't until when we started flipping, and we started making some pretty good money on the flips, we realized hey, we need to keep some of these. We need to not just be all cash.
Just for that long term,
retirement, right?
Yeah,
So
same.
let somebody else rent them out. Let somebody else pay the mortgage, and when we're 65, we can sell them.
Yeah, my our last conventional loan was just before I quit my job. So we did a combination of conventional loans and hard monies and refinanced. We have a couple DSCR loans.
And so, the first one that y'all wanted to keep, was it hard money, or did y'all just have to pull a loan out on it? You were like, hey, we flipped this.
I did for Buckboard. We did a hard money loan on that, and then we
just paid it off.
we paid cash for that one, and we did delayed financing on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
with
probably
several
a
we
bad
did
move.
hard money loans, and then we would just refi out of it after we renovated it.
Right.
Burr.
Right.
You know what the Burr method is.
So, and then I guess what would kind of make that house be the one y'all keep? Was there just not enough meat on the bones to flip it, or y'all just liked them? Was it just a personal choice? This one feels good.
It was a little bit of a combination of, we being that at this point we're both unemployed, so to
Right.
speak. I mean, we're self-employed. So we got to sell some of them.
Right.
Just to be able to pay
Generate
the bills.
income.
And we keep the ones that we can, that made the most sense. Like everybody else, we want it to be cash flow.
Right. rental
good,
rates.
good schools,
Yep.
right area.
Cool. So that kind of organically happened as far as y'all cherry picking the ones that y'all wanted to do. And then I read about y'all too. That y'all flipped a good amount of houses. Yeah.
30-ish.
30-ish.
More than 30.
That's a damn good amount of houses. I mean, that's
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That enough alone will make you lose your damn hair. I mean, flipping houses like that. No shit. So with that,
I didn't need it anyways.
well, you pull it off.
I think you look great.
by the way.
I was
you.
gonna say like until I read the part about the alopecia, I was just like, she looks very distinguished and looks like could have been a choice.
It's become part of my personal
Which way is
brand.
it? I dig it.
Is it choice now, or is it still kind of?
Oh no, I have zero hair. My brother calls me a dolphin.
That's awesome.
Like, your skin is so
That's awesome.
soft.
Yeah, we make dolphin noises to each other. That's great.
I don't know. Is that what a dolphin noise makes?
I
no idea.
my,
Can't they
my
talk
only
like-
dolphin knowledge is from the old TV show Flipper. Like, apparently, I thought that they were just the smartest damn animal ever.
Hey,
On Nick
Hitchhiker's
at
Guide to the
Night.
Galaxy. Anybody read that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at the end, it's all about dolphins are controlling everything. They're the ones that Exodus, and they know everything's coming, and it's the dolphins that know everything. But tangent. But so 30 over 30 houses. I mean, you guys have seen some shit. Every house is a little bit different. At that juncture, I mean, so you guys are still actively flipping homes now.
Well, actually, we have not flipped anything in the last 12 months, I guess. So
Because the
Talk
market's
to us about that. Let's try to clue in the audience here. Like, what's going on? They've already heard us talk about it like at length from like a sales standpoint, but hearing from the boots, you guys are true boots on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
sure,
what's going on,
yeah.
James?
So back when pre-COVID, when the market was normal, it was relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but it was, you knew what your buy-in, you knew what your ARV was, your after repair value. It was pretty easy to calculate, because things were normal. And then COVID happened, and we're like, oh, the market going to take a dump? No, it did the opposite, as we all know now. And so that was a great time to flip, and everybody and their dog became a flipper. And
Yeah.
because you could buy anything and turn it over in 3 or 4 months and make a buck.
So-
Well, then, May of 2022 is basically our peak. And then from then on out, rates go up. The market comes down. We're down, in Austin, 30% from our high, something like that. So we didn't want to we actually lost some money on a flip.
I was going to ask y'all, have y'all taken an L on a few?
One time.
Just one? Okay.
One time we took an L, and it was when the market we bought it at the wrong time, bought it spring of 2022.
Yep.
The market turned, and so we haven't bought anything since because I don't want to try to catch a falling knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems that we've stabilized, and we might be getting back to hopefully a normal-ish market, and we'll get back in the game once we see that. But I didn't want to be the guy there trying to guess
Right.
when the best time to buy was. So.
Yeah.
I always tell people you never know when you're at the peak and you never know when you're at the trough.
Yeah.
But you can always tell if you're
going either
if you're
direction.
rolling downhill or if
Yeah.
you're climbing uphill, and that's for a lot of us, like, trying to find out when you're climbing uphill you need time and perspective, and you need to see some stability in the waters. I feel like we're just now able to kind of feel that after how long has it been since the last Federal Reserve change? Has it been 6 months?
It's been about 6 months.
Yeah.
It's been about 6 months. So then, like, hey, you stop shaking the boat a little bit. Everything kind of settles down. And everyone's like, okay, I might come out and do something. But I think everyone still wants to see about a year or so.
Well, then it becomes the
firm
new norm.
declaration
It's
of,
like
inflation's gone.
That's what I'm seeing now is these prices are kind of falling down to earth again, and then everybody's getting back. Now, more stuff is popping up now because people are used to it. It's like that shock value is starting to fade. But that flip game, it's interesting. It's like I have a bunch of investor clients. I always get all the wholesalers hit me up on my listings for 40% of what we're listed at. It's like, I never understood that. It's like, obviously, the seller has expectations, right? You have a house for $350, a flipper comes in, it's like, I'll give you $220. It's like, in my mind, it's like a logical person would be like, I could drop this price to $300 and still get more than $220. It's like the wholesale game is so crazy to me, but it's like that. It's like
it's
that
about speed, right?
It's like that shotgun
But
approach.
it's about
It's a shotgun
speed.
Yep, it's a shotgun approach. It's like you get these and we're doing that too right now with some clients of ours that are trying to do the same thing. It's just about, look, let's get a canned email together. Let's not bullshit. Tell them what we're going to offer, and just go. And I mean, even if you shoot out 100 of them, if one of them sticks, it's going to be worth your while. So it's like when you guys were doing that, I know y'all used a bunch of different avenues and marketing tactics to grab your properties. Did y'all ever go down the road where y'all had to put the $5,000 down? Didn't get to check under the hood. It was kind of like a whim approach, and y'all had. I mean, that was a lot of what y'all did.
Oh, we did a lot of those.
So, and like, what was some of the oh shit moments once y'all did get in there? Was there anything that was like, fuck? It's like,
Well, you know what? We did put down money. Remember that property in Round Rock? We did put money down on a property in Round Rock that had a pool. We'd never done a pool before. Got the inspection done because even though James is previously an inspector, he didn't have pool experience. And I think we actually lost our earnest money on that one because...
No, we didn't lose our earnest money. No, we got on in the option time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
All
an
right.
MLS deal. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we got
some of these wholesalers don't even have options. Like $5,000, you take it or
Yeah.
leave it. If you
Here's
win
the
the bid,
thing. When you buy off market and you're forced to make a decision really quickly, you have to assume the worst on everything.
right?
Right? Because our philosophy is if it could be solved with money, it's not a problem. So that means you just have to get at the right price.
Right.
So you
way
can
to
walk
look at it.
into a house from 2007 and maybe the air conditioner looks good and maybe it doesn't. If you assume the worst, then you can solve it.
I love that.
Yeah,
if it can be fixed with money, you can figure it out. Just
Yeah, my whole thing is I would go into a property. If it's a wholesale property, there's big ticket items that I can look at.
Oh.
And one, does it have cast iron plumbing?
Right.
If it does, I don't touch it.
Yep.
I don't want to go there unless there's incredible margin on it.
Right.
And does it have aluminum wiring? Those are two things that I can't easily fix. The roof's bad, the HVAC's bad,
Well,
the
foundation.
whatever.
Foundation. I mean, do you fuck with foundation?
Foundation's a problem too, especially if but that's a coupling with
The cast
iron.
Right.
Right. So if it's PVC and the foundation's a little bit settled, yeah, maybe it's not a big deal. It's cast iron. You're like, all right, we're going to be $70,000 into this before we even blink an eye.
You absolutely hate it because then they have to tunnel underneath it.
Yeah, you got a tunnel underneath.
You got a
unless
tunnel.
It's pier and beam,
Yeah.
And so we typically never touch anything with. I've never touched anything with cast iron. Never touched anything with aluminum wiring, and we actually haven't touched any severe foundation issues.
So that means that y'all are completely avoiding the east side right now.
Oh, we
We've
always
never
have.
bought anything there.
We love 1976 and after.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm there too. I'm
Yeah.
like I want to see like I feel like the golden spot is like 76 to 82 because that's before you have these like
Mass
homogenous,
manufactured.
yeah. That like you got 5 floor plans throughout the entire neighborhood, and in my neighborhood presently, 1984, I have the same floor plan is there's like 7 or 8 houses on my street.
Yeah.
As me, and I'm
That's
like,
how it turned.
And our
I mean
neighborhood,
different elevations, but still like
Yeah.
when you walk into your neighbor's house, and you're like, oh shit.
yeah, in our
Same exact
neighborhood,
one.
we live in the Balcones Country Club is.
Yeah.
There's like a late 70s, early 80s neighborhood. There is not a single house that's the same.
I've always wanted to
It's-
golf
it's
there. I've
beautiful.
never
Like
golfed
come
there.
around
Yeah, I wanted to.
Jollyville area.
Just north of that.
Yeah,
Anderson
yeah.
Mill.
Yeah. That whole area is beautiful. And everybody was, and as soon as the market started blowing up, that area in particular, I feel like
Ooh, we got in just
grabs
before.
so many people, especially folks trying to get over into Apple too.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah, it's
area.
like popping.
We
rocketed
flipped
up.
our way into that neighborhood. I'm
Hell
so proud
yeah,
of that.
That's
Yeah,
rad.
it was. I tell
So-
people all the time, like, as I couldn't afford to buy my house now.
Yeah, shit, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So when y'all, I always like to ask, or think about this did y'all have kind of the standard flip aesthetics that y'all kept with every house? I mean, it's like we're gonna use the same color scheme, same.
Agreeable
we
gray.
know it. Well, there's
We did start there.
Everybody did. Everybody's falling on the agreeable
Every
gray.
house was agreeable gray for a
Yeah.
while.
Agreeable
and-
gray, white trim.
Yep, absolutely. The only thing that we really are like number one criteria really for a house is single story.
Oh, is that for y'all? You feel like just because the premium and-
Resales better.
It's a premium,
Yeah.
because
People want more.
Well, like the aesthetics of like, did y'all have the same countertops you threw in there? I mean, the same kind of.
No, we
Did y'all
constantly
get
were-
creative?
We were constantly evolving, and that was because of her. So I was kind of boots on the ground, getting it all installed and organizing the team. But she was really good about being on Instagram, being on
Pinterest.
TikTok, Pinterest, and keeping up with the latest trends. Because
Right.
we first started, it was agreeable gray and shaker.
Yep,
And
shaker
we
cameras.
ended, it was alabaster
California.
white and doing European style, oak cabinetry. So it
changes.
every.
It's like
every month.
clothing. You know?
Yeah.
But I think the California flat European style is here for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
it all changes. I mean, darker tones are coming pretty strong. Where for a while there was the Chip and Joanna Gaines, farmhouse
Shiplap
white,
everything.
shiplap.
don't show me any more shiplap.
I mean, that was big though back then, and then now it's shifted to now I see a lot of flavors of those emerald greens and
Yep.
dark blues that almost look black, and
Yep.
a lot of gold tones to accent that, and which I think is sexy, kind of like your nails.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
I saw them.
Yeah,
But those are all things that I see. And I'm always curious to see. I mean, you guys were in it, as Justin's been saying, boots on the ground. So you've seen the trends change.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I have a lot of. There was a apartment guy that would flip apartment complexes, and he used the same goddamn thing on everything. So much so that he created a warehouse and his own regime of business
Yeah.
that did nothing but buy that material. And it's there's got to be a dead end to that.
Yeah, the risk is the shelf life will end.
Yeah, it has to.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
no matter what you do, in 20, 30 years from now, people are going to look at it and they're going to be like, what the hell are they
Like,
thinking?
what were you Yeah, exactly.
Because it's going to change.
The different styles of homes, throughout. I mean, you can tell 70s home versus 90s home, and 80s home versus a 2000s home. It's
Yep.
it's like the sunken floors. I mean, think about how cool that was back in the day.
yeah, until you start stubbing your toe, you eat shit in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
it's
get to
like
the refrigerator.
Too many whiskeys and fall down. And
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you, what's y'all's opinion on painted brick? On what's the lasting
done it.
power of that?
We've done it.
Well,
Yeah.
because we flip it, it doesn't really matter. But I wouldn't do it to my. Well, no, we painted our stucco. We have Monterey stucco.
That's
Different.
Stucco's
Yeah, but
different.
stucco's painted,
Brick
though,
versus
yeah.
stone. I keep seeing these
think it
flippers
depends
right
on the
now
color
that are painting all these natural limestone and brick, and I'm like, once you paint it, I mean,
I've never seen a
Hard to-
painted limestone. I've seen brick a bunch, but you've seen limestone?
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
say
yeah.
I saw something. Oh, I saw something today across the street from the place that I was just at.
Well, what do you know?
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
with
gosh.
black
Photo-
trim on the outside.
Well, the first
which
house I
wonder if
flipped,
that's
the
a
one I
thing.
was telling you about, we painted the fireplace, the brick fireplace, and I felt like that added a little touch.
What we started doing with brick fireplaces and even stone fireplaces that we started tiling over them.
Okay.
Just completely changes the look.
Well, how
It
do you?
makes it
What
so
do you
much
do?
more-
You put I guess you got to get a flat substrate to tile over, right? So you just
Yeah. Well, brick.
you float the
well-
fireplace,
well,
I guess,
brick,
or what?
brick is easy, obviously, because it's pretty
Yeah,
flat.
yeah.
But stone,
stone's gotta be hard.
it can be done too. If you got good guys, they'll basically float
So
it.
it's all
and-
about the trades, huh?
Yeah,
It's all about the
yeah.
guys
Yeah.
you have to,
Yeah.
to do it.
We got
Which-
really good tile guys. We've had them
And-
since day one.
And how long did it take you guys to kind of build the arsenal? Because if anybody's done anything in the flipping game, it's all about the leverage that you have for the people actually doing the work, how well they can do it, the price point they can do it. Did that take you guys a while to kind of catch those gears and
To
make
build
sure?
your team.
Yeah, not too much because I mentioned earlier my broker and then another friend of ours who was a flipper kind of gave us some of their guys that they trusted, so we already kind of had that advantage. And then over time, some of the guys have changed, but the one consistent thing that hasn't changed since day one is our tile guy.
Tile guys.
Tile
man.
guys.
Our tile
I got a
crew,
great tile guy. He's
They,
phenomenal.
and they're, we pay them on time. If I say I got a job, they're there in a heartbeat,
Job.
and they do excellent work.
Good.
You can always find a painter,
All right.
right? You can find a drywall guy. But
Exactly.
tiles,
But
tiles-
not every painter's creative. I feel like drywall is one of those deals where you can have some errors and little margins of error that
There's
you
some
can cover.
goofballs
But
with a texture
painting-
gun. I mean, for sure.
Painting, I'm not a big fan. There's a big broad variance of painters. I think in my experience.
There's a variance
Well,
of HVAC guys,
Yeah.
roof
True.
guys, all
I
over
guess
the place.
all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
You're only as good as the trades that you.
But don't nitpick on price.
right.
Right? If
What-
they give you peace of mind, stick to that.
What do you get? The 2 of the 3: quality, price, time.
Yeah, you
Speed.
take
Speed,
Yeah,
yeah,
the,
speed,
yeah,
yeah.
the rule of three. And it depends on how you want to name these things, but cost, quality, and then
speed.
in communicate. I was going to say communication and reliability.
Yeah.
Like they're there when they say that they're going to be there. They're going to respond back when you have something wrong. But you get 2 out of the 3. Now you guys we can nuance that.
Let's
into,
add, like,
probably
8
10
more in
things.
there.
Yeah, we should just create our own acronym.
Right. They gotta be good looking.
Text only.
Oh, yes.
They gotta look good. Make me feel good about myself. Compliment me.
So what is it? So it feels like it sounds like the flipping game for you guys right now is market dependent. You are kicking ass on your midterm game. What do y'all feel like y'all need to see to go back into flipping Are you just kind of saying are y'all holding right now until like the right thing shows up? You're like a deal I can't refuse, or are y'all still kind of testing the waters here or there? Like it sounds like it's not. It sounds like it's not the predominant thing.
Yeah,
anymore.
I think I'm just kind of waiting to see that we're truly, at least on a plateau or maybe slightly going up. You know what I mean? So
I think there's always good deals. So I don't think there's anything stopping us from going into a flip. But we're not actively pursuing something. Like we're not jonesing to get it done. But if the right deal comes along, we'd be in the opportunity to buy it.
Risk reward, like if someone's going to offer you something for $1, it's kind of hard to refuse it. But
Yeah.
I mean, who's doing that? And then what are your margins to make? What for you guys? Like, is there a percentage margin that y'all feel like this is a yes versus a no? Like, do y'all say yep, 30% or something like? Is there a percentage that you guys feel like I did the numbers? Nope, we're not reaching threshold.
yeah, I would
Or is
say
that personal? You don't have to answer it.
Yeah, I mean it's you need to make a decent amount of money, right?
It's gotta be
to
worth
make
it.
it worth your time.
Yeah.
I talked earlier, like our first flip. I mean, I'll just be candid. Like we made $9,000,
Right.
and I did all the work while we were both fully employed.
You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, and on the weekend,
Your dollar per hour is like 50 cents.
Going there to check on guys.
It's like-
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like but it was enough to be like, all right, we didn't lose money,
Right.
And plus, I paid 3% to. We talked about this earlier, to my broker, who she then told me, she's like, get your license.
Yeah,
Like you don't need
save
to be
yourself.
paying you 3% to list your listing for you. So then we got to the next one and we made a little more and we made a little more and they made a little more and just got a little smarter about it. But a lot of the smartness was thank goodness my broker was saying, hey, get your license.
You have to.
Like,
It's such a
God,
big
it's
leverage
crazy.
piece. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of circling back to that.
Potentially 6% if you're buying on MLS and selling MLS.
Yeah.
6% spread's a ton.
Even if I wasn't in the game, I think I would, just keep it in case I wanted to buy my own personal property. It's like, new construction, you can throw that around like a damn He-Man sword, It's like you can do whatever you want with
Yeah,
it.
I got a 5%er on one.
Yeah.
That some friends bought the other day. Just put my name
Well,
down.
Just like put your dance like an apartment leasing. But
It doesn't hurt, but I also want to like discourage people from just like saturating the market. I mean,
as long as they
these
don't get in,
days-
yeah, as
Yeah,
long as they-
we're luckily seeing we're seeing a reduction in that, but I think that we were talking with some friends and a few podcasts ago. It might be the one that can't go to air just because we got a little too fucking rowdy. But
there's
when
one
we're
that's going
saying
to be
like
in
when we
the
when we
catacombs
started,
of
it
our
was like probably
archives.
about less than 10,000 agents in the Austin area, and then at peak market there was like 20 plus thousand agents or something in the area, something ridiculous to where it feels really watered down because you have too many weekend warriors. I would, like John said, there's some risks involved if you're licensed and you're doing the flipping game.
Yeah.
But it also there's also a lot of benefits. Like how much is that 3% each side? I guess that would total to maybe 6% each side.
I mean, it's huge, yeah.
But,
I mean, going in, you can leverage it if you get it on market. I mean, that's a big piece. I mean, that saves you.
I think it can only stand to help you if you have it. If you don't, but that's as long as you're not trying to do wild and crazy stuff and not disclose or not do what you're supposed to do as flipping. However, you have some externalities, but I always think that it's important to have those skills there, just to know and to save on the money. It always makes sense.
And you mentioned earlier, just like from 10 to 20,000 agents, I feel like from 2019 to 2022, we went from 1,000 to 5,000 flippers.
Yeah, same thing.
And I never want to see anybody fail, but we know firsthand a lot of people got into the game late.
Yeah.
And they got their hands caught in the cookie jar, and they lost a bunch of money, and they're no longer flipping. So in a way, it will thin the herd a little bit.
There's like a 6-month period where you saw the stragglers that like bought when they shouldn't have, and just like,
Oh, yeah.
what do I do?
They were
And
calling
just-
us.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's like, and that's
So I run a women's real estate group here in Austin. So, I work with people. I get asked to consult a lot about real estate and what to do, what the options are. And I can't tell you how many people have called me to say, like, I think I bought at the wrong time. I'm completely underwater. I don't know what to do. And unfortunately, really, at that point, their best option, if the numbers even work, is to just sell the property at the note value, get them out from underneath it, and that's it.
move on.
Yeah, save your credit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all I can
Yeah.
do.
Save your credit or
because
save the house.
the rental rates
you don't-
went
You don't
down.
get your time back, but if your credit's messed up for the next how long is it? 7 years?
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. I mean, that's gonna limit. income potential. It's going to hurt your insurance. It's going to hurt a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
you just got to
Yeah.
suck it up and take the loss.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
No,
part
that
of the
makes sense.
game, though. I mean, there's that no risk it, no biscuit, man. No pressure, no diamonds kind of deal. So it is what it is. But and then last question that I have for y'all. So do y'all do short term now too as well, or is it only midterm?
We have a couple of short term. We have one short term that we own.
Okay.
It's our cabin.
Is that the one, the New Year's
Marble
Eve?
Falls.
Okay, no, not the
Yeah.
New Year's Eve one.
And then we host a couple of other. So I have a property management company as well that specializes in midterm rentals.
This is a company that you've.
I'm
this is
partnered
yours.
with. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Hestia 360.
Nice.
And we have a couple of short term rentals under there, but our primary focus is midterm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The short term game's crazy, man. I know we were touching on this a little bit before we started airing, but to me it seems like such a pain in the ass, dude. Like just the turnover.
Man. Yeah. When
just
I got
the
a taste
bullshit.
of midterm, I was like, this is so much easier. I'm not chasing cleaners on Sundays.
Yeah.
I'm not, running to the store to get toilet paper. I'm not getting paper towels. I'm not, there's just the freedom of time when it comes to midterm rentals. It's amazing.
Yeah. Your hotel within a city, it's like you have to go run around everywhere. It's like your rooms are all over.
We get asked all the time for that, but the thing that I have to tell people, because they're typically not furnished with ours, because we'll tell landlords either pretty much no furnishings unless you have to take care of it. And what if they're there for like 2 years?
Yeah.
There's not the
Then what
bandwidth
happens
to
to
do
a vinyl chair when it's got a bunch of like fart stains in it and whatnot? Like how can we quality control that wobbly leg in the back, and what does that mean like when they move out? I definitely want to make sure that we round the bases here. So we've talked about y'all doing your flipping. We talked about your management game. What's next?
What is next? I think really for me is really to put Hestia at the forefront of the consumer mind, that there is and can be a brand standard like a Hilton Hotel in the midterm rental space. And I can take that, qualify all the hosts, and bring that to the businesses that care. Like when we relocated in 2014, we got a relocation package at Apple. They put me in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, with our 2 kids, with our dog. We had a nanny at the time, and it's. I didn't feel like that was a great experience because we came from a 3,000 square foot house in Chicago, and then they put us in this 1,500 square foot apartment. I think I could provide the exact same experience in a Hestia home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet, and for about the same price. I think it's just a matter of educating and closing the gap and bringing that midterm rental host to the consumer that demands it. And I think that's going to be my primary focus for 2024.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool, and it's scalable. It's scalable because you're bringing people in unless you
Even if you got it set up to go to the consumer too. I mean, it made it that size. That would be. I mean, I get the ease of what you're doing now, but if you built it up to where you could be the next Airbnb, but on more of a bigger platform that was more affordable and created that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you can avoid having to like have the craziest widgeted website. Oh, you have a nice website, but it sounds like you can avoid having to have that consumer focus just by focusing on those
The
corporate
businesses,
who will need those resources.
Yep.
And you don't have to do the tap dancing that we were talking about earlier to consumers like the public. That's rad. That's very cool.
Are you going to start flipping again?
I think so. We'll see what the market does here, but
Price
it's looking like it's
You can
maybe,
do it.
Yeah, looking like it's maybe going that route.
I think we're going to see some opportunities.
I had a great 2023. I had a great year of just being a traditional real estate agent.
Yeah. So you're slanging deals too?
I have a lot of
You're getting
transactions.
out and slanging?
Yeah,
Good.
that was a good year for that. So,
Good, man.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I kept the ship well afloat, while we were on a pause. But yeah, it's been a fun year representing buyers.
Hell yeah, right? That's what we're talking about, man. It's not fun being a listing agent.
No,
right now, but
I had a couple of listings, and it was
it's a little dicey.
Hey,
That Monday morning you wake
showings?
up,
Yeah, it
it's
was
like
literally the following night, from February to May when you did your listing contracts.
Like I could have sold this house for $850,000 a year ago. I'm like, yeah, take off 25%, and that's about.
I
what
could have
you're
bought
gonna get.
Apple stock back in the '90s, but I didn't. It's that's what you say. To stay true to our time, we'll kind of wrap this up. One thing we like to do on the tail end of this, and thank you guys for coming. Y'all have been a hoot.
This is great. I love this
We
connection.
always keep this open too for other episodes. if y'all want, y'all can kind of do it in tandem since y'all are kind of a tandem pair. If y'all can pick out one person that y'all can call out, maybe two, to come and be a guest on our show.
I want you to look deep in the eye of
To
the camera.
look
The one that's
deep
most
and just
likely pointing
call
at
someone
you.
out that you think would fit and jive with us.
Just like I challenge,
Get 'em,
I challenge
man.
you to come on here because
Yeah,
they've
I've
got a
got
story
one.
to tell. They've got a market segment. It doesn't have to be purely real estate either. We try to cater to most things financial or things real estate adjacent. So we've had lenders, insurance people on. We've had we haven't done commercial brokers yet. Who
Title
else?
I got
company,
two
all
really
sorts.
good ideas. So the first one is Lydia Renee. She teaches people about wholesaling.
Oh, come on, Lydia.
So she teaches people about how to find deals, how to have the conversations. Her Facebook group is amazing. It's called Wholesaling 101 for Newbies.
Okay.
The
Is she
second
local?
one, she is local. She lives here,
Awesome.
not that far, Circle C, I think.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
The second one, Kristen Gerst. She lives in Dallas.
Okay.
She focuses on note investing. Are you familiar with note investing?
No.
No.
Buying and
that
selling
is
notes.
Curious.
You need to know her.
Good to know.
Amazing.
Shit,
That's cool.
We'll
Yeah,
get you down
exotic
here.
fruit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like it.
And
love it.
that's real estate adjacent. People don't realize that you can make money buying performing or underperforming notes. So
yeah, I mean,
it's,
there's all
it's
kinds
fascinating.
of avenues.
I did my first stint at being playing like a short term lender last year, and that was an interesting experience. To be like, all right, you take my money, I've got to make peace if it doesn't come back.
I
But
know I did that
I
last
hope it
year,
comes
too.
back. Yeah, it's like, but it worked out. I had the person who the people who I did the loan with were stand up people. I felt very very confident with them. It's the next step to be like, all right, I don't know you. Let's just
Yeah, here's
analyze
Well, I
money.
know
That's-
someone
those
that
are two
lost a
great
couple
suggestions.
$100,000 on
Who you did?
a private loan deal. No, not me, but someone.
Some
I know.
it's
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah.
would be hurt. That would hurt.
Would hurt.
It's part of it, but
That's rad.
Well,
Thank you guys again. How can folks find you online? Tell us your website. Tell us your handles real fast in case they want to reach out to you and do business with you. We're hoping our audience will give them business.
Why don't you start, James?
So, best place to find us is Austin House Flippers. So we have a TikTok, YouTube, and
Instagram.
page. So I'm looking for the third one there. I'm not the social media guy. That's her.
Yeah.
And how do you find?
I have a Instagram, Vivian Yip _official, as well as a Facebook group for investors looking to learn more about midterm rentals. It's called Midterm Rental Wealth with Vivian Yip, and I'd love to see you in my group.
Let's
Learn
go.
about it.
Let's grow it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Let's
everybody,
go.
for another
Thank you,
exciting
guys.
episode
Yeah.
of Rough Housing Podcast. We appreciate you. Don't forget to
subscribe, like the bell, follow us,
Ding.
share.
share. Let's do it. Catch y'all next time.
All right.